This Side of Jersey podcast, the number one podcast in the world, is brought to you by It's a Mighty Thing Incorporated. Have you been eager to learn how to defend yourself? Do you want to get in shape? Have you been looking to learn from the best? Or just eager to try something different? From a hometown Philadelphia kid to a rising star to now pro boxing Hall of Famer, come down to Ivan Robinson's Kingdom Boxing Gym and Fitness, located at 4434 Griscom Avenue, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and get lessons from a legend. The magic is in the work, and the work is what breeds champions and legends like your very own former IBF and USBA lightweight champion, Ivan Robinson. Different classes and options are available. To find out more, visit kingdomphilly.com or contact 215-839-1400. That's 215-839-1400. The gym is open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's kingdomphilly.com to find out more. Welcome.
It's the gang.
To This Side of Jersey podcast.
It's the gang.
The number one podcast in the world.
Word.
Self-appointed. All right. I am one of your few amazing hosts. My name is Steven. I go by Ugly Steven on Instagram.
It's your boy I Robinson03_ on all platforms.
And we got OG_Bs_, who's not with us today, took care of some obligations. And we got Korean Tay _ behind the camera.
Word.
Today is a special day. We got a special guest.
Indeed.
You've been waiting for this guest for a minute.
Indeed.
He's here. We're excited.
Word.
But before we get into that, we're going to do our layup lines.
Get him loose.
For those who do not know, layup lines is a segment on the show. We just like to get our guests loose, get them comfortable, get them having some fun before we go into the discussion. You feel me? Special contestant. I'm not going to say your name yet. Special contestant, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it. We got 24 on the shot clock.
Yes, sir.
Tell me when to go.
Let's get it.
Mayweather or Canelo?
Canelo.
2001 Sixers or 2019 Sixers?
2001 Sixers.
Gervonta Davis or you in your prime?
Me in my prime.
Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney?
Devin.
BMW or Benz?
Doesn't matter.
Cardio or strength training?
Cardio.
Ali or Tyson?
Ali.
God.
There he goes. Well
Okay.
done. Very well done.
Very good job.
Very well done.
Very good.
All right. So as you noticed, or you may have noticed, our this or that questions had a boxing theme to them.
Facts.
We have a boxing legend with us. We have a professional boxer. He is a professional trainer. He is the former USBA champion. He is the former NABF champion. He is an inductee into the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame. He is an inductee in the New Jersey Boxing Hall of Fame. He is an inductee in the Pennsylvania Boxing Hall of Fame.
Boy got accolades.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ivan Mighty Robinson is here in the building.
That boy got
Yes,
accolades.
sir. Yes, sir. How you feeling, sir?
I'm great.
Good, man. Good to hear. Thank you for being here.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. So talk to us. Let's start out with where you're from. Tell us where you're from.
I'm from the city that they call brotherly love. Just
They call. Why you say they call brotherly love?
Because ain't nothing brotherly about it now times. I mean, All this killing kids, killing family members, killing whoever for whatever reason.
Indeed.
It's been bad lately, too.
Have you seen the city? How much have you seen the city change since you grew up in it?
Oh my God! I mean, excuse me. I look at things as ancient from the time that I grew up. I never thought that I'd be seeing things happening now. I thought I'd probably be buried when certain things going on, but the world is really crazy now. I mean, you have to watch yourself at all times. At all times.
Or
I understand, absolutely. So talk to us about where did your love of boxing come from? Where did the love of boxing come from?
Yeah, that's crazy. I guess my dad. My dad started me training at the age of 5. He took me in the gym at the age of 5, but from what he told me that I can't remember, he used to work with me when I was like 2, 3 years old. So at 5, he finally decided to take me to the gym.
Okay. That's where the love started. Now, you said that's when the love started, but when did you realize it was like something you really wanted to do? So like at 5, it seems like it's almost like your dad could put a basketball in your hand. And of course you're going to love the basketball. You're going to play with it. But when did you kind of make a decision like, I really enjoy this sport. Like, this is fun for me.
It's crazy that you asked me that because I've been thinking about that for a while, and it's been asked to me because I've been around a long time. I started boxing back in 1977. So in 1980 was my first junior Olympic trip, and I went to North Carolina. I fought down in North Carolina. I made it all the way down to the finals, and I lost in the finals. Then, I started competing with against other people. Then I went, I fought guys like Oscar De La Hoya and Shane Woolsey and all those guys. And I still didn't know how good I was, even though I was getting a lot of accolades in Philly. A lot of people coming up to me, telling me how great I was going to be. And it didn't really hit me until 1991. I was the number 1 representative at the 125-pounders to make the U.S. Olympic team. I went and beat everything that they threw in front of me that year. And a year later, I was 1 shot away from making the 92 Olympic team, but I lost. And that's when I knew right then and there that boxing was something that I wanted to do. I mean, at that time when I was like 16, 15, my dad used to take me, get me jobs, help me with jobs. I used to have summer jobs back then, but that wasn't in my heart. My heart was boxing. And when I finally lost in the finals of 92 at the Olympics, I knew right then and there that boxing was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to get paid for it. But it wasn't really about me getting paid. It was about me letting people really know what I could do and how good I was.
So just you talk about, your dad kind of giving you that passion in boxing. I mean, and me personally, I know a lot of your brothers and stuff, they box too. So it was obviously something that was going on in the family. Talk about how, I mean, from the trajectory of your career and theirs, like talk about what separated you from them. Was it work ethic? Was it,
Nah, I was just a better fighter. That's just, no disrespect. I mean, I love my brothers. I love my mom. I love my dad. But, it's just crazy that I had that talent. Everybody just knew I had that talent, that I was just that kid. I mean, when I was 9 in Philly, I was called Mighty Mouse. And I was known in Philly as Mighty Mouse. But when I went to my first local tournament in D.C., everybody knew who I was before I got there. Everybody wanted to see me fight. Everybody knew who I was. They wanted autographs. So it was, it was crazy. The objective was different. My brothers came along, and it was just crazy that they picked up boxing. Right. I don't know if they did it because I did it or they did it because, it was in our blood. But at the end of the day, anybody that knows my family, they'll tell you that I was the better of the fighters. Now, my middle brother, Lemaine, he was good. He was just a big guy. He was just big. My taller brother, my younger brother, Kareem, that nigga like 7'6". I don't even know how he decided he wanted to fight, but it was what it was. But out of all 3 of us, I was the best one.
Right.
I want to ask you a question about and talk about, because it seems like you had a lot of pressure when you were at a young age. Even before you recognized, I'm saying, like you said, 15, 16, you're fighting across the world, right? So, or across the nation. What what was it? Did you have any distractions? Were there things that you had to tune out? Was it an outside world that may have been trying to deter you away from boxing? Were there people in your circle who you had to leave behind when you wanted to pursue boxing? Like, what was that? Because it's one thing to have a talent, right? But where we come from, there's a ton of distractions that could deter you away from your talent and really move you off course to your future, right? So, like, did you face any of those challenges growing up? Did you have to leave people behind? What were some of the sacrifices that were made?
Well, I think the sacrifices that were made with me was back then at that time when I was coming up, my mom and dad, having both of them in the house, my mom was like the disciplinary person. She made sure that we went to school, we did our homework. I wasn't on the phone all late nights and hours and stuff because my dad worked at night. And my dad was the guy who drove me. He knew that I had a talent, and he wasn't gonna let me let that talent go down the drain. Everybody in the neighborhood knew who he was. They knew that I was his son. They knew that I had a career, or they thought that I had a career, and my dad kept them away from me. I think the peer pressure was that, trying to stay away from the guys that wanted me to be out on the corners and sell drugs and be out all night and that type of things. And then, the young ladies, always trying to be up under me, and my mom didn't want that. She didn't like it. My mom and dad was they was my pillows. Mm-hmm. So that kept me focused. And, me fighting people and, going all across the world, that's what amazed me. I mean, 1 minute I was in Oklahoma, the next minute I was in Denver, Colorado, excuse me, and then I'll never forget in 92, I actually was at, which was always our training camp, which was in Colorado Springs. But that year, 92, I actually happened to be on Olympic campus with the 92 Olympic team, the basketball team.
Oh, wow.
And what was crazy that the women's basketball team was there. And, of course, Dawn Stanley. She was there. And me and her, we interviewed with each other. We talked with each other. It was like, she was from down Lehigh, and I'm from Germantown Avenue. And, we talking and everything, and everybody knew that we knew each other. So, me being high-headed like I was, I asked her, like, come on, let's play a game of basketball. And that was the worst thing. That was the worst day of my world.
Oh, yeah?
She crossed me over with something crazy. But the thing that made it so fun about it, I was from Philly, so she did it to a Philly brother. When she did it to the rest of my team, it was like, man, y'all guys. But, yeah, it was just amazing. I mean, then I went to Korea to fight in Korea, and I beat the Korean champion. Then I went to Australia, and that's when I met Costa Zoo out there. I was out there for a while. So, I just was going a lot of places, and other people wasn't getting that opportunity to go. And I felt real good about it, although I was scared a lot of times to get on the planes, but it was something that was fabulous.
Wow.
So talk about, we touched on the amateurs a little bit, talked about, the process of, you going pro and how that all went. So you talk about, a lot of people may not know, but who don't, you fought some pretty big name people. Arturo, you already mentioned Oscar in the amateurs, Shane in the amateurs. But just talk about the trajectory of your career, and the big name people that you came across.
Well,
so I know you started and you went. How many did you win before you even took your first?
It's crazy because I'm sitting here talking to y'all, and I know I shouldn't say this, but it's crazy. I'm sitting here with y'all talking to y'all. Y'all brought me in and asked me to do this with y'all, and it's a great thing. I love it. But I'm sitting here being interviewed by my son. It's crazy. Whoever thought that I'd be sitting here being interviewed by my son? But he asking me these questions, and the crazy part about it was that you was part of that entourage, that feeling of being.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? You would. I don't even want to go into it, but you were born in '96. When you was born, I was at the pivot of my career. Your mama know, your sister know. It was like everything was great. You know what I'm saying? We had great times. I was fighting some big guys. I remember when we fought down here in Philly, and you finally came to the first fight. It was amazing because you was at the fight. You know what I'm saying? And I went out there, and the kid gave me some trouble, but I think I got rid of him in like 5 rounds, man. That was the most exciting thing because that was your first fight. You know, you was just being born. And then, you know, I got to relay on the Gatti fights, man. Them fights was crazy. You know, the first one, I had to go to camp, and I'll never forget when I had to go to camp. You didn't want me to go to camp because you wanted me to stay home, because I think the last 2 camps I stayed at the house, and you was like, Dad, don't go, Dad. I was like, Mighty, I got to go. I was like, you want Daddy to win, don't you? You was like, yeah, knock him out. I was like, all right,
yes,
well,
sir.
You know, we're gonna do what we do. But you know, them 2 fights was great, man.
Fight of the year, right?
Yeah, because,
both of them.
No,
Just
the first
the
one
second
was the fight of the year.
Okay.
The second one was upset of the year.
Okay.
I don't know how they, you know, did it like that, but they did it like that. I was in camp for 8 weeks. You know, I talked to you every day, you and your sister and your mom. I talked to you every day. We trained hard to get ready for the Gatti fights. You know, the odds was against me at the time.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? At the time, I had just took, I think about a year before that, I had just took a bad loss to a kid named Israel Cardona from Connecticut. And we was expecting to get another fight, and we couldn't get it. My manager couldn't get me to fight. We were trying to get a fight, and one night I took the whole family out, and Shane Mosley was coming in the city to fight, and he was getting ready to fight somebody else. And I was saying to myself, like, you know, me and Shane was on the same Olympic team together. We grew up together. We fought together. We traveled together. So my thing was like, he was champ of the world at the time. I was like number, I think 4 or 5 in the world. And I'm saying to him, like, yo, you coming to Philly to fight in my hometown. You not fighting somebody from Philly. You fighting somebody else. So why you not fighting me? So I went down to the press conference, and me and him, you know, we got into it. So he canceled the guy he was going to fight me. We had just fought like a month and a half before that, and I had a bad cut. But I wanted that Shane Mosley fight. I wanted that title. So I went into camp. I was like, man, look, we're gonna do whatever we're going to do to get ready for this fight, but we're going to protect this cut. But that didn't happen. The cut reopened. The Shane Mosley fight was out. The ticket sales for the fight was crazy because when I was going to fight him, we sold out. We was going to fight at the Spectrum. But after I had to pull out, they didn't beat the, they never rescheduled it. Shane Mosley never wanted to fight me, and we was just out. We didn't know what we was going to do. I didn't know who I was going to fight. It was just nothing. So my manager got a call that night, the next night, and they offered him the Arturo Gatti fight. So I never forget it. I was in the house with Mighty and his sister, and I got the call from my manager, and he was like, Ivan, I got a fight for you. So I'm like, all right, cool. You know, I'm not scared of nobody. So I was like, all right, cool. Who we going to fight? He was like, you going to fight Arturo Gatti. I looked at him like, are you serious? Yeah. I was like, all right, well, let's do it. We went to camp the next day. We stayed in camp for 8 weeks, man. We got ready. I never intended the fight to be the fight of the year. But, you know, I went out there and did what I had to do. And I put on a great performance, and the fight was great.
Big fights, yeah.
Right. And then we just happened to get the second fight. So, you know, those things happen.
Sound like life was good back then.
Oh, yeah, life
was good.
Life was lovely. Life was lovely.
This Side of Jersey podcast, the #1 podcast in the world, is brought to you by the Puddin' Palace. Now, we have had the luxury and the honor of seeing this business grow from a small venture out of Miranda's Kitchen to a full storefront located at 211 West Clinton Avenue in Oakland, New Jersey. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking, right? My mom makes pudding. I love it. My grandma makes it. Why would I ever abandon that? Listen, I'm going to tell you exactly why you would abandon that. Okay? This is exactly why. This is not normal pudding, ladies and gentlemen. The flavors are unreal. They have regular banana. They have birthday cake. They have cinnamon toast crunch, Dunkaroo, cookie madness, strawberry lemonade. The list goes on. My personal favorite, thanks for asking, is the strawberry shortcake. It comes with the crumbs. It's the real deal. All right? It is the real deal. They have full-size pans. They have personal size servings. They have gift boxes. You cannot go wrong. All right, so make your way to the Puddin' Palace, again located at 211 West Clinton Avenue in Oakland, New Jersey. Also on the website at www.thepuddinpalace.com. It is pudding with no G at the end. So again, that's www.thepuddinpalace.com.
So those Arturo fights, were they your hardest fights?
Yeah, because at that time when we fought Gatti, we had fought a lot of guys before that, but nobody really, I ain't trying to toot my own horn or nothing, but those guys that we were fighting were great fighters, but they just didn't live up to the caliber of my experience, my technology of the sport of boxing and what I could do. And I just weight watched a lot of them. A lot of them I beat up bad, and some of them I knocked out. But that Arturo Gotti fight was probably the biggest fight at my time and at my age.
Yeah, it was a great fight. Y'all both back and forth, both threw punches. That was definitely one of the best fights I've definitely seen.
Sure.
I just want to talk about the fear aspect a little bit too. So obviously, big fights like that can bring on, at least for me, I know I talk about just in a different sense, but basketball, like I get a lot of, not necessarily fear, but anxiety. Before any game, every game, whether it's like sweaty hands, stomach,
Right.
So talk a little bit about fear going into those fights, what it means to you, or how it's even impacted you before fights. Is it fear? Is it more of an anxiety thing? Just talk a little bit about that.
Well, right now I have fighters too, and they don't tell me, but I can tell because I've been a fighter and I've walked the path that I'm trying to get them to walk. With me, it was always like I wasn't scared of nobody that I fought because I would fight anybody. I fight a joke in his backyard. I fight a joke in his bedroom. I fight him in his bathroom. It didn't matter. That's just the type of guy I was. And I felt that my skills that I had were great, so I could compete with anybody. But I always had that fear, like, man, what is this guy going to do? And, we fighting with 8-ounce gloves. We might as well be fighting with our knuckles.
Right.
So, it was always like, I got to wait until I feel as though this guy going to hit me with his great shot. And if that's the best he can hit me with, then I'm good. It's not like I went out there and put my hand down like, nigga, hit me with your best shot. No, I got hit with it. When I felt that was his best shot, it was a wrap. It was good. So, yeah, I had butterflies walking to the ring, to the corner. After they said my name, then it was a wrap. And then when I went back after he said my name and the referee gave me my instructions, my team had to go down to the side of the ring, so I was on my own. So I had to put my skills together. And once I got hit with that great shot, it was good. It was all done for me. I was doing what I had to do. The only thing that I can remember, and a lot of people bring this to my attention all the time, and you probably still remember too, my only fear was that when I got hit by Arturo Gatti in that 10th round, and then it looked like he put me in space, that's the only thing that really scared me. But I was in such great shape at that time, Bill, Uncle Butch, Bowie, they got me. They had me in good shape. So it was like I wasn't gonna give up. But I got hit with a good shot, and I was able to recover and stand for the next, 30 seconds, and that was the end of the fight. But yeah, that's the only thing that would ever scare me in a fight. I would never turn away from nobody. I never ducked nobody. I never hid from nobody. And then on top of it, I was in camp a lot with Pernell Whitaker. I was in camp with Pernell a lot. So Pernell got to teach me a lot about the sport, and he talked to me a lot. So that was a great experience for me too.
Sure.
So I'm sorry, I'm bouncing questions around because you're hitting on good topics. While we're on this topic, you named some of the people that you had in your circle, like trainers that you work with, family members. It seems like you were really close with. How important is it to have the right team around you? How important is that in the sport of boxing and in anything really?
Yeah.
But particularly in your sport and your expertise, how important is it to have the right trainers, like the right people around you?
Well, like you said, in any sport is great to have great people around you. Boxing is basically a one-on-one sport, but it consists of a team. Like my kid just fought last night and we won. and he done some great things. But I don't feel as though he was able to be productive if me and his dad didn't give him the tools and the knowledge that he needed to go out there and fight with that kid, because he fought a kid from Argentina, and the kid was tough. I mean, my fighter is a great kid. He's 8-0 with 7 knockouts. So he's a big puncher. But, I mean, when he hit this guy wouldn't move. So, I'm sitting there looking at him like, man, I know my fighter can punch because I feel the pressure every day in the gym with the pads and the body work where him hit me. But he hitting this dude, and this dude ain't going nowhere. So now I'm sitting here saying to myself, like, when he come back to the corner, I got to make sure I give him some good advice because he got to go back out there. So it's great to have a good team with you. And your cornermen are definitely great. You know what I'm saying? You can't do this by yourself. And I tell all my boxers, and I try to tell people that I talk to every day, that boxing ain't something you play. Boxing is serious. Boxing is like a 8-hour, 16, 24-hour job, all-day job. You cannot play boxing. People think because they play boxing on Nintendo and Xbox and PlayStation that you can come out here and do it. No, boxing is a hurtful sport.
Yeah, and just to even touch on that, like it goes all the way from, the people in your corner, but
Definitely.
also like, family members or people.
Definitely.
Me remembering going back to fights and stuff with my dad, it was this big black bald dude who always just used to walk me and my sister around. That was the dude who always. I remember we got into a little, situation in the bathroom, but my dad never had to worry about me or nothing happened to me or Toddy because he always had him. So just and all that takes pressure off everything. So all the people in your corners definitely
for sure
definitely need.
I imagine you've seen it all in boxing. I imagine
pretty much.
So do you ever, as a trainer, find yourself like you said, you saw your fighter swinging and the dude wasn't moving? Do you ever find yourself like,
oh shit, like,
when this round ends, I don't know what to tell him?
But that's why you have 2 trainers in your corner, because one person to see something that the other guy don't see. So we only got 30 seconds to tell him what we need to tell him, and hopefully it registered to him, and then he go out there and he can get it done. So with you having a great team, man, that's definitely gonna take you a long, long, long way.
Right.
Indeed. So you like, as you said, you have trainers, you have young fighters that you work with.
Yes.
What's something that you see in young fighters today that you're proud of, that you enjoy? What's one thing that you see in young fighters that you really, really are like, you look forward to their future being promising? Just whether it be like a work ethic, right, or like what is something that you see?
Well, I'm a hard coach. It takes a lot for you to really impress me. It really takes a lot for you to just have me on a great side with you, because the boxing is so impact. It's such a toll on you, because with me coming up, I had to train so hard. I worked so hard, but I love to do it. So it didn't matter to me what I had to do. Today, these guys cut corners. They try to do everything that they can't do to get better. I have guys that tell me, Coach, I ran in a day. How many miles you run? I ran 3 miles a day. All right, well, come on, we're going to do this today. And they can't even get through the workout. But you told me you ran 3 miles. Your 3 miles should be able to cover what we doing today. So if there's anything that I can say to a fighter or anyone that wants to become a fighter, I'm not gonna say I don't like him, and it's not because he got a lot of money or nothing like that. That's not even it. But my thing is this: if I had a fighter that I wanted to tell to take after someone and really see what they do and how they do it and take after, would be Floyd Mayweather. Floyd trains so hard, he trains so good, and his endurance is so great. Floyd trained when people think he's not training. You know what I'm saying? We probably sitting here right now talking about it, thinking he ain't doing nothing. Floyd might be in the gym he might be in the gym doing 3 miles or something. So that's something that I try to entice into my fighters to do. I try to emulate into my fighters. Like, look, when you think that your opponent that you're about to fight, thinking that you sitting down, relaxing, he up probably running 5 miles. He might be in the gym sparring 8 rounds. You know what I'm saying? So you always got to be thinking of something to do. even if you just in the house chilling, watching TV, when you watching the movie, the break of the movie come up, get your butt up and do 100 sit-ups real quick. Do 100 jumping jacks. You know what I'm saying? Then when the show over with, or the film over with, or the movie over with, go outside and do 3-6 rounds outside shadow boxing. You know, always stay ahead of your opponent. Always think that your opponent is doing something, so you got to do better. You got to do more. And that was something that I liked about, I don't want to call him Junior, but Mighty. He always was working, you know, like, you know, he would always come home from school. He would always shoot ball because we had a court in the driveway. He would be shooting basketball. He would want to go to the gym and, you know, do layups or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? That's what I loved about Mighty. The only thing I didn't like about Mighty is that I had a gym and he would never come work out in the gym. I ain't understand that. That was crazy.
Yo, I just remember as a young boy watching you do some of the stuff you did in training. There's no
Like,
way
no.
I'm ready to do that. Like, basketball, the stuff I used to do for hoops, the stuff I used to do for boxing is two different things. I'm like, I mean, I could do that, John, but I'd rather just go shoot a bucket or two.
Let me ask you this. Why don't you? To my understanding, you have hands.
Yeah,
You have
I mean,
very sharp
yeah,
hands.
He used to.
You got
I used
very
to be
sharp
in the gym. Him. Well, it was more my Uncle Butch,
Okay.
and it was just obviously me being there. But my Uncle Butch was really the one who, like, yeah, I mean, used to put the pads on, put the gloves on, like, all right, well, let's, you know what I mean, let's spar. And obviously, he was doing his thing. But for real, I think for me, it was more like I'm better at basketball. But he was always the one telling me too, it's a dangerous sport. It's not something I want you to do. Like, you better in basketball, so go do that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, but he always enticed me to train, though. Like, he still wanted me to put, you know what I mean, just stay sharp.
It's
But
like, yeah.
obviously, basketball is just something I fell more into. But I love boxing. I love watching it. It's something I grew up on. So,
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Mr. Robinson. Do you feel that? How do you feel you would react if Ivan were to come to you and say, "Dad, I want to box. Like, I want to do what you want to do. I want to do what you do. I want to box." Would that be a tough pill to swallow? Would that be?
Yeah, people don't understand it. I mean, it would definitely be a hard decision because a simple fact, I know what I went through, and that was my whole agenda. Like, when me and his mom got together and she knew that he was gonna be a boy, my thing was the whole time when she went in labor, I ran to the mall. I went straight to the mall and was walking around the mall, and I had my phone on me so I would know exactly when he was about to come. But I'm in the mall the whole time walking around the mall like, yo, what can I get my son? I'm not buying this joker no boxing gloves. I'm not doing that.
Wow.
I'm not doing that. What can I get him? I got it. Picked up a ball, basketball. Went back to the hospital when he was born. I gave him that ball. I ain't want my son to fight because for one thing is that if you have that's just like with Michael Jordan and his son. When Michael Jordan's son was born, everybody thought he was going to be better than his dad, or they wanted him to be better than his dad. Mm-hmm. That peer pressure is kind of hard for your son. And then me being a dad, him doing what I do, I would definitely want him to be better than me. I would want to train him to do the things better than what I've done. And sometimes I know that can be a headache. Like with me coming up, I lived with my mom and dad until I was like 18, 19, then I moved. And me and his mom got together. But at 15, 14 years old, on a Sunday morning, I was supposed to be in the house watching football. My dad come upstairs in my room talking about, yo, it's time to go downstairs and work out. I'm like, on a Sunday? What are you talking about? Then he like, after workout, he like, yo, you know you got to go over to the park and run your 3 laps. Dad, are you serious? Then when after I did that, I had to come in the house and eat, and it was down there time to go to sleep to go to school. So I didn't want Mighty to go through that, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of it, I would have to push him hard, and I didn't know if I would have pushed him, I didn't want him to rebel. You know what I'm saying? Dad, you want me to be better than you? I can't be better than. So, you know, I looked for another option, and basketball was the option, and I'm glad it was because he turned out to be a great basketball player. So, you know.
It's really refreshing to hear you say you didn't want to push him in a direction he didn't want to go, and then he would rebel. Because I feel like that's something that a lot of parents don't recognize. They don't realize they're doing that. They think they're just putting their kid into something that's productive and like they can be good at. Right. But it's like
true.
that's a real thing. Like you can push them off the edge, and now they just like You made a dent in your relationship that won't change now. You know what I mean? All because you were pushing them too hard to do something they may not have wanted to do. So
Facts.
it's very refreshing to hear you say that. To hear that, like,
it's crazy because all those things that I've seen, all those things I'm talking about, I've seen them, I've done them, and I work with them. Like, my dad wanted me to be the boxer. My mom kind of was like, nah, I don't want him to be no boxer. Let him go to school and do his schoolwork, and then whatever he want to do after that. But evidently, my dad seen it in me. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it was days he would come wake me up like, oh, Ivan, we got to go to the gym. I'm like, Dad, look, are you serious? I really don't feel like going. But by the time I got to like 15 and 16, it was so much respect there for him, you know, pushing me and taking me to the gyms and people seeing who I am. It was just like, I already know Dad doing what he doing because he loved to do it, and he know that I'm good at it. And it wasn't about, and it wasn't about no money or nothing like that. With me at that time, it was just about me having fun, and I love boxing.
I'm sorry, you want to ask something?
No, go ahead. You go.
You started pretty young, so I feel like I may know the answer to this question, but like, was there ever a second option in your life?
Nah, but it's just crazy because my dad I love my dad to death because he did so many things for me. He let me see so many things, and I got the opportunity to grasp them and lead him over to Mighty. Or if I didn't teach Mighty those things, if he wanted to know those things, I knew how to do them. Like every summer, I didn't care what was going on. Every summer when I got out of school, high school, summer school, whatever school it was in, my dad did not let me box. He let me pick my poison to do whatever I want to do. 1 year, I played football. 1 year, I played basketball. The following year, he made my behind work. So, I was in all categories of knowing what to do and how to do it. So, but, man, boxing was what it was. And like I said, I think with the boxing was that I got the opportunity to go across the world. I mean, by the time Mighty was born, Mighty could tell you I probably been everywhere in the world that it was needed to be. I fought everywhere in the world. So that was the most important thing that was great. I got a chance, not just with boxing, to find out about what's going on in the world, but that was my outlet, boxing. If I wanted to go out to Virginia, it was through boxing, and I got to see what went on in Virginia. I got to meet everybody in Virginia. I got to meet Pernell Whitaker. He from Virginia. I went to Atlanta, and in Atlanta I met Holyfield and my man Vernon Forrest. We was on the team together. So, I got the option to do a lot of things, and with the sport of boxing, it made my world wide because I have so many friends across the world. I can reach out to so many boxers in the world. I know so many boxers that's out in the world, so many promoters. So, boxing ain't just about hitting somebody upside the head. It ain't about just getting money. It's about networking, and that's what the world is about nowadays. It's about networking, So with that catapulted me to being not just a great fighter, becoming a great coach. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, I can be a spokesperson for whoever. I can help young kids do whatever, even with Lil Mighty, helping Lil Mighty do things that he needs to do, helping him with the basketball. I don't know much about it. I like looking at it. But if he need my advice on something or he need me to help him, I'm there. So, boxing was a great entity for me to do a lot of things. And, I gotta give my dad a lot of kudos for that because he was with me 100%.
This Side of Jersey podcast, the #1 podcast in the world, is brought to you by Sleeves Inc. Antoine Dickerson and his business partners provide a customized product to organizations that you cannot find anywhere else. They design athletic sleeves to accent teams' uniforms for high school, college, and professional sports. A one-of-one product that's exclusive for each particular team. They offer arm sleeves, headbands, gladiator masks, wristbands, mouthpieces, and socks. And they are still also in the process of expanding their catalog. Visit Sleeves Inc. on Instagram, that's SLEEVES VEZINC on Instagram and DM your order to get a 3 to 5 business day shipping deal on your order. It's so admirable to see like you loving boxing at a young age and it being the primal thing that you do all your life.
Yeah,
a lot of times you have kids who like, for example, want to do something, right? But they have to also go to college and get a degree because if that doesn't work,
right,
I need this, right? And a lot of times that's what happens.
Yeah, you're right.
The necessity, the career, right, takes over the passion, right? Like you start losing the passion because you have to have a career, right? It's refreshing to see like from the time it was a hobby all the way to the time like it went into professional, into now training and passing it down. Like your life has been boxing, you know what I mean? And you didn't have to like compromise, you know what I'm saying? You didn't have to have a backup plan to like compensate, you know what I mean? Like that's super refreshing.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's super refreshing.
Indeed.
What was the purpose for your fighting? Was it always the same throughout your career? Were there times where you had to find, where you were doing it, you said, I got to find a purpose in this, or I got to find the meaning again, or like, has that changed? Like, for example, I don't know if this is it, but like, just for example, like maybe having a kid in your career might have changed, right? Like the purpose of your fighting, or like whatever the case may be. Has it always been the same throughout your career?
Well, of course, it's always been the same. But of course, when Toddy, which is Ivan's sister, and Ivan came along, well, before Toddy and Ivan came along, their mom, like, you know, Ivan's mom didn't live in poverty. I didn't live in poverty, you know what I'm saying? But we just lived in a bad neighborhood. And his mom was in college at the time, and I was on my way on going to the Olympics, you know. So I knew right then and there, my thing was, look, I want to turn pro, make money, and I want Tanya, which is Ivan's mom, I want us to be able to live great. I want us to be able to live good. I don't mean no big house in Vegas or nothing like that. It's cool that we have a nice little family home. You know, we got cars and the kids are cool. That was my whole vision of me becoming a pro and making money. Of course, you know, when you start making money, you always want to be rich, and that's not it. That's not what it was about for me. I mean, yeah, of course, we had the nice cars. I got a nice car. We bought the nice house. We had the nice clothes, all that type of stuff. But that didn't really matter to me. My thing was, we got it. We cool. I still got to get up tomorrow and take my butt to the gym and train 8-9 hours because I got another fight in 3 months, you know, and it's gonna be hectic. So I didn't. I mean, I love money. Of course, everybody love money, but money don't describe me. Money don't make me who I am. I'm who I am because of my dad and my mom, and because I work hard to do what I do. And I think that trended to Ivan and his sister, because, you know, they two great kids. They doing their thing, you know what I'm saying? And I love them to death. And I'm just proud, you know what I'm saying? I'm proud to be able to sit here and talk to you guys about my career, my life, you know what I'm saying? My family, you know, because you don't have fighters that can sit here and talk to you guys on y'all podcast or radio or TV and can give you a straight sentence. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I always say this, my man James Toney, me and James Toney like this. I mean, James Toney fought Roy Jones. He fought Kalabe Sumbe. He fought he moved up to heavyweight. He fought my man Evander Holyfield. You know what I'm saying? James Toney is one of the best out there. But, you know, James Toney took a lot of punches. So James Toney, to a point, you can't understand a lot of things James Toney's saying, but you may understand and know what you thinking he gonna say. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, boxing is hard, man. It's brutal. And like I said, if anybody want to become a fighter, think about if this is really what you want to do. There's a lot of things behind it that's great. Of course, you can become champion of the world. You can make a lot of money. You can be rich. You know, you can do all that. But you got to think, what's the back end of it? You know what I'm saying? The back end you may not walk out that last fight that you just fought. with all your faculties. You may be sitting in the hospital tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? You may be on life support or whatever the case may be. But, you know, we try not to teach that. We always look for positive things when it comes to boxing. And, you know, nowadays, definitely, when I was coming up, boxing was like, it was an okay thing. You know, it was good to do. It was good to have recognition and everything. But really, nowadays, boxing is something that I feel as though everybody in the world needs to try to take up, because you never know when you have to go out the street and fight. You know what I'm saying? You got bullying now. Bullying. Who does bullying? That wasn't nothing that was even thought about when I was coming up. You know what I'm saying? A guy picked on you, you punched him in the mouth, and it was over with. You know what I'm saying? That was it.
Like that.
Just
Straight
like that.
It was done.
He said, "What is bullying?"
Pushed him in the mouth and it was done up. That was it.
Wait, do you remember? I don't know if you remember this. I was at your house one day. We were kids. We was playing basketball.
No, I don't remember.
Okay. We was at your house one day. We was playing basketball. I forgot why I came in the house. It was either get something to drink or I don't know why I came in the house. But we was out front at the court. Hey, you asked me to put my guard up. You was like, can you box? And I was like, no. He was like, let me see. Put your guard up. I'll see how fast you are. And I turned around and walked back outside. I was like,
Wow,
absolutely
really?
not.
No way.
Wow.
I was like, this man is an assassin.
I don't need to be nowhere near him.
I said, I'm going back where the basketballs is at. Wow. Good sir. I remember that. Yeah, you were a sharp dude. You were scary. Yeah, you were scary.
Real quick, just talk about your inspirations growing up. 3 of them. Give us 3 of them.
And tell us why. Don't just give us the 3. Tell us why each individual one is in your top 3 or your favorite 3.
Wow. And nobody never asked me that. Nobody. It would be hard. It doesn't matter what category. It doesn't matter what. Okay. All right. I would say, I'm gonna say Sugar Ray Leonard is one, because I met Sugar on like 3 or 4 occasions. It's crazy. I'm from Philly, but I spent a lot of time in D.C. with my man Mark Johnson and Sean Bay Mitchell, you know, Melvin Foster and those guys. They trained out of the Sugar Ray Leonard gym. And when I went down there, you know, I seen Leonard. And Leonard back in them days, when Leonard was around, I was just a young boy just going to the gym, like 5. But I looked at Leonard, and Leonard was that fighter that everybody wanted to be, because he was handsome, he had a lot of money, he could fight, you know what I'm saying, and he did all the right things that he needed to do in the sport to get where he's at. Like right now, I mean, if I need to talk to Leonard, I could call him. I think Leonard like 60-something years old, 50, late 50s, early 60s, and he still look good, you know what I'm saying? So
Barely got hit.
and he you know, he just, you know, took boxing to another level. Of course, Ali did it before him, but I'm with Leonard. Far as basketball, I'm gonna say that for last. Okay. Boxing. I got the, you know, my number 2 will be 2 people, will be 3 people, because 2 of them is in the same sport and 1 of them is in a different sport. The first one I'm gonna say would be Christy Martin. She's a female boxer. She's a former female boxing champion. I had a kid that fought on her card a year and a half ago down there, and I didn't even know she knew who I was. And of course, she didn't know who I knew who she was. But I followed, like I said, I followed her, and I think I followed her because she was a woman, and excuse me, and she could fight. You know, they used to call her the coal miner daughter. She could really fight. You know, and she made money. You know what I'm saying? And she was really smart about how she spent her money and what she did. Now she's doing a lot of promoting. She's wealthy. She's down in Florida, but she's doing a lot of promoting out of North Carolina. Okay. So and then the other set of athletes would be Venus and Serena, the tennis players.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's fire.
That's a good one, yeah.
That's fire.
Going from being tennis players to mothers down to having money and handling their business and doing business the way that business should be done. And then on top of that, they're both black. You know what I'm saying? So that's powerful right there because they black. Now, this last one would be kind of crazy because I'm older than them, and they're not rich, but I know they got some money. And the thing is, they doing a great thing. You know what I'm saying? And we talk a lot. We not as we close, but we not as close as we used to be coming up. And that's how it is sometimes. So my third person would be my son, Mighty. You know what I'm saying?
I know that's right. I know that's right. Yes, sir.
You know, he turned out to be a great young man, you know, and I can't take nothing away from him. You know, he know that I love him dearly, and you know, he rolled with me through my early career because he was born early. You know what I'm saying? And he always was laid back. I guess he watched, and that was great because your dad
is
didn't
laid
do it.
back.
Yeah,
Ivan is that's one word to describe I. One thing to describe I is laid back. That is true.
So I'm happy for him, man. I'm glad that he doing what he doing. You know, he got guys like y'all around him, and he ain't gonna do nothing but excel as he go on. And I just wanted to know if he need anything, he know I'm here.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
yes,
my
sir.
dog.
Yes, sir. One time for the one time. Shout out to the Robinsons, man. It's a great family. It's a great family. Shout out to the Robinsons, man.
Thank you.
Let me ask you this: what has boxing taught you that's applicable in the real world? What's a lesson that you learned in boxing that you can apply it anywhere else in the real world in your life outside of boxing?
Always be open. Always know your surroundings, and just protect yourself at all times.
Indeed. I like it. Protect yourself at all times.
Indeed.
I
Especially
like
in the
it.
world today, man. It's too much shit going on. It's corona everywhere. People shooting people. Just know your surroundings. Protect yourself at all times.
That's why I took up MMA
good
because I
advice.
was like, bro, I gotta know how to do something if something happen.
Word.
Like I gotta know something. You feel me? I gotta know
Some
something.
form, yeah.
And then I think I actually asked Ivan. I was like, bro,
Yeah.
teach me how to box. And he was like, I'm gonna refer you to my dad. And I was like, that man's an assassin. And I just got a flashback of when you asked me to box. And I was like, never mind.
So we gonna go MMA.
Is there anything you would have done differently in your career? Is there anything that you look back and you say, I would have definitely done that differently?
Yeah, I can't say that though.
Okay. There are things though.
Yeah, definitely. It's just always things that there are things that, and it's just life, period. It ain't even in boxing. It's just things in life that you see that you have done, that you know that you should have done better. And you just try to make the best of it. You know, no one in this world is perfect. We all make mistakes. We all do dumb things. We just gotta be real receptive for the things that we do and how we do them. You know, that's just like, you know, with boxing. It's crazy that I always gotta, just for some reason, I always got to refer to boxing for some reason.
It's been your
It's your life. Yeah.
Yeah, but
absolutely.
you know, I talk to people and people always say, "Man, why you always talking about boxing?" It's just how it is, you know. And boxing is a life lesson. Like you just asked me about it. You know, you got to protect yourself at all times because it ain't even about punches coming at you. It's about life, period.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's about the obstacles that's coming through you. And, you know, Mighty will tell you, and if you've seen my tapes, you know as well, I'm a defensive fighter first, you know, and that's what made Pernell Whitaker so great because he was like Houdini in the ring. 1 minute he's sitting in front of you and you throw a punch at him, he ain't even there no more. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it is in life. You got obstacles coming at you. You got to learn how to slip them. You got to learn how to catch them. You got to learn how to roll, you know, duck, all
And
that
throw
type of
them
stuff.
shits back.
Exactly, and throw them back. It's crazy. I hear my son cuss. He
You hear
just
me?
cussed.
Hey, man, times have changed.
Yeah. Because back then when I was coming up, if I cussed in front of my dad, he gave me a left hook. So
Listen, it's different now. That's not. I don't heard you curse in front of Big James a couple times now.
I feel like if you were my dad and you told me not to curse, I would never curse again. Not behind your back, not ever. Nah, Mr. Robinson, man, it's been a pleasure. We appreciate having you. Before you go, is there any young advice you give to a young fighter, or any advice that you give to a young fighter coming up? One piece of advice you would give.
Stay true. That's it. You gotta stay. And when I say stay true, I mean stay true to the sport, because the sport is just like you having a girlfriend or having a wife. If you treat the sport wrong, it's gonna treat you wrong. if you treat the sport bad, it's gonna treat you bad. If you give it a black eye, of course it's gonna give you one back. You know what I'm saying? But if you slipping them obstacles all the time and you countering, you ahead the whole time. And I think boxing gives any kid, man or woman now, because we got women that's out here doing it too, and some of them are great out here. Boxing gives you the respect that you need to have within yourself and what you need to give to other people. And it ain't just got to be me. It could be Mighty. It could be you. It could be anybody. Boxing makes you humble, man, because who wants to walk around and get punched in the mouth?
All right.
I'm saying, who at the end of the day of doing a 6-week camp, who actually really wants to go in tomorrow night and know they got to fight and get smacked in the mouth or punched in the mouth or get hit in the body for 8 to 10 rounds? So that's like an hour of your day. You know what I'm saying? So who wants to do that? So just be true to the sport, be true to yourself, be true to your family, be true to the ones you love. And that's all I can say to you. If I can give any other advice to any fighters, got to be humble. And, I've said this to a lot of other people that I've talked to, and, I've said it to Mighty coming up, but I didn't say it to him in the fashion of a boxer. I said it to him as him being a player and him being a human being, period. Got to be humble. If you don't know how to be humble, then it's a problem. And I think that's what really got me to where I'm at today. Like, you said I met you when you was younger. I don't remember that. But you being connected to my son and, y'all have a good relationship. So that means that coming through the time that I came through, I was humble about a lot of things I did, and I'm still humble. It don't matter to me. People know who I am. It doesn't really matter to me. And Mighty will tell you that. It don't matter. I could walk down the street. If 100 people didn't know who I am, it didn't matter to me. But, I find that very rare that I can go somewhere and somebody not know who I am. That's crazy. But, you got to love it. Most of all, I love the fact that, people love what I've done. And that's all I ever wanted. It wasn't about me making a whole lot of money. It wasn't about me being rich. I just wanted somebody to say, like you said to me, yo, you fought great fights with Arturo. That's all I ever wanted. It don't matter to me that I made a lot of money doing what I did. Just that you know who I am and that we can sit down and we can talk.
There and you made an impact for sure.
Absolutely. A great career.
Thank you.
A great career.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, Mr. Robinson, we thank you for having us. Oh, thank you for being here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. We appreciate that.
Word.
Before we go, do you want to plug your gym? You have a gym? You work? Yeah, absolutely.
I'm out of Philadelphia. It's Kingdom Boxing and Fitness 44 at 34 Frankfurt Avenue. I can be found on Instagram on It's a Mighty Thing, and Facebook is just my name, Ivan Robinson. That's about it. I'm trying to do some great things. I got a kid right now that just fought last night. Not Fear Charles. He 8-0 with 7 knockouts. He's the ABF lightweight champion. And I just got a lot of young fighters coming up, man, and just trying to do some great things in the next year or two. Hopefully, I have another world champion, and just continue to work.
Indeed. We appreciate you giving back. Sir. We appreciate the passion you bring. We appreciate what you do. That's all we got. That's all we got for today. Without further ado, you know what I mean? I'm one of your hosts. I'm Ugly Steven.
It's your boy I Robinson 03 _ all platforms.
We got Korean Tay _ behind the camera. And shout out OG _Bs _ on the gram as well. Until next time, y'all.
This side, Stick Gang.
This side of Jersey Podcast.